Welcome back to everybody. Last week, we talked about 4 big games. This week, we have 4 great games to talk about. Let me introduce the cast of characters here, and they are characters, believe me. Al, Vegas Confidential Club. 2 big winners last week, and you have a big offer this week in the same package.
That's right. Last week, we swept the board on our Vegas Confidential Club, cashing with the Houston Cougars on Saturday, another blowout win by Case Keenum and company. Then Sunday, we had the over in that big matchup between Minnesota and Green Bay. So a great week on our Vegas Confidential Club. And this week, I've isolated 2 games out of 2 systems that are combined 43-0 against the spread going back to 1980. These 2 plays are so strong as my Vegas Confidential Club parlay of the year, and I'm going to guarantee that you go 2-0 or the rest of the season through the Super Bowl is absolutely free. So stay tuned. Jim?
Well, I'm going to have to get those games from you before we leave here today. You're not getting out the door without telling me what they are.
You got $20?
It's only 19.
Oh, 19. Okay. 19. I get $1
okay,
back.
For you, 20.
Dave, ACC Game of the Year last week, easy. Florida State. And then you come back, NFL Game of the Month, Atlanta. They went straight up on the road at Detroit.
Well, those are the games we advertised here last week. And the results speak for themselves.
And now you got a Pac-12 Game of the Year coming up.
Yeah, I absolutely love this game, too. I was actually specifically just waiting for them to put this game up on Sunday night because I knew I was going to bet it. I knew about where the number would come. And I know that the best number on this game will be Sunday night, and I took it right away. This game's going to be an easy winner. This game is going to be an easy winner. I'm one who plays a lot off what I watch in talent evaluation. This matchup to me and the situation can't be better, and that's going to be the big game. Huge guarantee on it. Can't wait for an easy winner again.
I know you've been hitting these big games, so you also is going to give this game up before you leave today.
I think I probably already gave it to you.
You probably already did, but I'm not going to say that. Okay, Scott. Last week, Annihilator. I love that word, Annihilator. Smash mouth, Annihilator. Great word. But they were. Nebraska, easy winner. Come in on Sunday with Kansas City, 28-0 I mean, gee whiz.
It was pretty nice.
That was 6 interceptions by Oakland in that.
I missed it. I thought they were going to have 5.
You can't have everything. And now this week, Annihilator Game of the Year.
Exactly.
Tell people about that.
What's going on, basically. Last week, by the way, and I was doing a couple of shows throughout the week after the trade was made for Carson Palmer. And even though I had Kansas City, I still think that this, in the long run, or at least for this season, is good news that they went out and got Carson Palmer. And I don't believe that the Cincinnati front brass is a bunch of geniuses. They were in the right place at the right time with the right player, dealing with the right team that needed Carson Palmer. And so I like that they did that. Hugh Jackson had to play him because Kyle Bowler was so bad. And it just helped our cause with the Kansas City Chiefs because Palmer's a little rusty, doesn't know the system. At least he didn't in that week. But it was a great weekend. We swept the Annihilators. These plays go for $500 a piece online. And it's part of my countdown this week. It's a college conference Annihilator Game of the Year. It's the top play in a 5-play countdown. I've won 5 straight 5-play countdowns going back to last season, 2-0 this year, and that conference Annihilator Game of the Year tops the countdown. All 5 plays only $25. Great offer when you consider the Annihilators alone are $500 online. So we're looking for a big weekend. I know last week you had a Game of the Year going, and it came up short with Virginia Tech. They win the game. They dominate for the most part. Came up short against the spread, but I think you're still 10-2. 83% with your last 12 college football games of the year. I'll take that anytime. But I also wanted to mention something before. I know you got 3 huge plays going this weekend for free. And I want those plays, by the way, too, since you're getting your plays from Dave and from Al. But we'll swap plays. But
you're not getting out of here without the Annihilator either.
Yeah, I know. But I know you don't want me to say anything here because he feels there's a little jinx going on if we do. But I'm going to talk about it. That way you won't be jinxed. But we got this contest going on. There must be, 35 handicappers involved in this thing. And right now you're out in front after 7 or 8 weeks of the season. And what is it, a perfect 7-0 best bet record?
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't jinx it to talk about it because you know how that works when that happens, when you start talking about things you're doing well. But I am. The 2-unit play each week. So far, 7-0 going into week 8. I have a big game, of course, this week as well. This week I have 3 big games in the colleges I'm giving away absolutely free. That's right, 3 big. Not 1, not 2, but 3 big games Absolutely free. Just make the call, 1-888-260-8339. These 3 games will win, or you'll get the rest of my executive plays in college football free. Absolutely free. 3 big games, 1-888-260-8339. As Scott said, last week I had Virginia Tech. They forgot to play the first half. But that's the way it goes. You can't win 100% of these games. But transparency, that's what we're talking about here. These guys all do well in their top plays. So do I. That one didn't make it. So you call this week. Going to get 3 big plays, absolutely free in college football. 1-888-260-8339.
There's something I wanted to drop in, because we won't. Look, obviously this is about attracting viewers here and keeping you interested. But I want to mention this real quickly. We were talking about this before the show, interestingly enough. There's no NBA. There's something called the National Hockey League out there. Now, I'm not suggesting that you suddenly become an NHL fan, but I'm going to tell you something. The numbers out there in the NHL are not the best. They never have been. And sharp bettors take advantage of the NHL every year. It's a sport you can win at. The last time I checked, the money that you put in your pocket doesn't care where it came from. Doesn't care whether it was football, basketball, or hockey. We're all selling hockey picks. They're all doing extremely well. Check out the numbers on the screen and call for these hockey plays. They're very reasonably priced, because it's a supply and demand type of thing, quite frankly. Can't charge as much for hockey as you can for football. Take advantage of it. There's money to be made out there. I mean, it's great. And by the way, you might end up liking the game.
You might end up, but you like cashing, though.
Yeah,
Definitely like cashing. We're going to come back and we're talking about a big game, Georgia and Florida, the big cocktail party in the sky, or whatever they call it.
The sky.
It's the halfway point of the season, and I'm celebrating this Saturday by giving away not 1, not 2, but 3 of the strongest games on the board, completely free of charge. Just call toll-free 1-888-260-8339 and grab all 3 monster winners for free on a recorded message. That's right. No cost, no obligation, nobody to talk to. Just 3 of the most powerful selections I have set to fire this weekend. Better still, you will win all 3 games, or all of November's college football executive service is yours free as well. It's a guaranteed trifecta, all free on a recorded message. Make the call right now, 1-888-260-8339. That's 1-888-260-8339. Call now. This is a big, the big cocktails party in the sky, or whatever they call it. I like that better than the other way. This is a very important game to both teams. Florida's not playing that well right now. Georgia's playing a little bit better. They're actually ranked, the lower part of the rankings, but they're there. But they haven't really beaten Florida in a long time, or not very often. I think 3 out of the last 21 times they played, Al. Yeah. What do you think about this game?
Well, Scott and I, we were talking about this game last night. Scott and I talk often at night.
Separate locations.
Separate locations. Yeah, we both do most of our handicapping work at night, so we're always on the phone talking to each other. And we were talking about this game last night, and I guess, Scott, you'll get to your stuff in a second. But one of the things that we talked about was how bad Florida's offense has been the last 3 ball games. I mean, they scored 10 points against Alabama, 11 points against LSU, 6 points against Auburn. So for folks paying attention, you can do quick math. That's 27 points combined over 3 games. You don't see that very often, and especially not by a good team like the Florida Gators. So when Scott and I were talking, I said, so I'm going to go to my database and take a look at this situation, see how teams do. And, they've basically stunk up the joint offensively for 3 games in a row. And I researched how teams do when they've scored 45 or less points combined over their previous 3 games. And in certain situations, these teams do extremely well. It's counterintuitive, but it works. Take a look at how teams do, scoring 45 or less over 3 straight games when they're matched up against an opponent off back-to-back wins. And if our team that's playing bad, like Florida, failed to cover the spread by 8 or more points in those 3 games, they're 52-20 against the spread. It's not what you would think, but it works. And I'm going to take Florida plus the 3 points in this ball game. Scott?
I wonder if it's going to be as exciting as that last game that was played in Jacksonville at the stadium on Monday night between Baltimore and Jacksonville. Now, that was an exciting game.
Hey, it depends on who you had.
Well, that's true.
I had Jacksonville on the money line at plus 440. It was pretty exciting.
I was watching 2.5 Men repeats, not the current season. But anyway, by the way, as far as this game is concerned, and the way I look at the contest, I've been one of these guys who has not been jumping all over Mark Richt and putting him on the hot seat. Done plenty of shows when the guys will say, hey, who's on your hot seat? Well, we said Mike Stoops should be out a few weeks ago. He was out like 2 days later. But as far as Mark Richt, I don't put him on the hot seat, even if he loses this football game, which I think they're going to. He does a great job of recruiting there. He plays in an extremely tough conference, obviously, and it's very tough to win on the road in the SEC. So I give him a little bit more slack than he's likely to get in the rest of Athens, Georgia. But as far as this game is concerned, I'm a little bit nervous right now about Georgia's chances because of the injuries they have on the defensive side of the football. At the same time, you got the Florida Gators who are getting Brantley back, but they are banged up. Like, for instance, Demps, he may not play again this week, listed as questionable as we speak. So there's a lot of injuries to both teams. So when that happens, because I am a matchup handicapper, now I'll say, the angles factor in with the adjustments of the line because of the injuries. He doesn't really look to the injuries, but I have to because I am a matchup handicapper a lot like Dave, and I have to pass this game. I think it's going to be, if I had to make a play, a lower scoring game than most people think, and I do kind of lean towards the under, but it won't be a play at the service. It will not be a play that I will make personally either. Just too many injuries in this one, too many question marks for me to jump in on.
Sometimes with a full card, it's better to pass a game when you're not sure. I mean, right. Georgia's 3 in the game, and you look at the history, they've only won 3 out of the last 21 times against Florida, but they are favored with good reason. If you look at the last 3 or 4 games this season, they look like the better football team. But with Brantley coming back, that makes a big difference. So you're both leaning a little bit to the underdog here, and that's interesting. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Wisconsin and Ohio State.
Can you say 6-0? Hi, I'm Scott Spreitzer with my next countdown going this weekend. I won all 3 countdowns last season, and I've won each of my first 2 countdowns in 2011. Grab my next top 5 countdown as we look to make it 6 winning countdowns in a row, and today's 5-play report is topped by my conference signature Annihilator Game of the Year. We swept these plays last week with Nebraska on Saturday and the Kansas City Chiefs 28-zip on Sunday. Call 1-866-896-1627 and get all 5 plays counted down from number 5 to number 1 for only $25. And remember, my signature Annihilators go for $500 online. It's part of this $25 package. 5 plays, $25, 1-866-896-1627.
Hi, I'm Big Al McMorty, and last week we swept the board on our Vegas Confidential Club, cashing with Houston on Saturday and the over in the Packers-Vikings game Sunday. Now this week, I'm releasing my Vegas Confidential Club Parlay of the Year. Both plays are backed by 100% perfect systems that combine for a 43-0 record. And you're guaranteed to go 2-0 or the rest of the season is yours for free. That's right. If you don't win both plays, you get all our Vegas Confidential releases through the Super Bowl absolutely free. Just $19. Call 866-896-1628. That's 866-896-1628.
St. Louis.
Welcome back, everybody. Great discussion on the Georgia-Florida game. Dave and I are going to talk a little bit about, maybe a lot about Wisconsin and Ohio State. Dave, that Wisconsin loss last week really had to take some wind out of their sails. I'm sure they're going to suffer a big letdown here. But they're playing Ohio State, who is really, this is not the normal Ohio State team. Of course, their offseason was a mess. A lot of problems there. But, I mean, they had a game just recently. They threw 1 pass in the game. And this, talk about an imbalanced or unbalanced offensive game plan.
They've got a lame duck coach. I mean, he's there for the year. Fickell's not going to be there past this year. When teams have that kind of a situation, unless it's somebody they really like, a beloved veteran coach or something like that. In other words, if Paterno would have announced, this is going to be my last year, that team would play its butt off every week for him. They do anyway, but it would just be this huge emotional thing. That's not the case at Ohio State, where Fickell was just basically promoted to man the ship until they hire whatever big name they're going to get to Columbus to rebuild the program, so to speak. So you're not getting, I'm not saying they're not working for the guy, but it's just not a situation where you're getting a focused effort out of Ohio State. That's clear. That's been shown already. But the flip side here, and it's funny, I've heard a few people talk about this week on ESPN, basically, and you can tell they don't really handicap games, because they've been talking about Oklahoma and Wisconsin, saying, well, these teams are going to want to show what they're made of this week. And I'm not a big angle guy, But I don't even have to ask Al about the database on this one.
I know where you're going.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. Teams that lose for the first time late in the season suck the next week. They suck the next week. They're awful. The reason being, what they were playing for is no longer part of the equation. And there's not a way. And Wisconsin's way more talented than Ohio State, in my opinion. And that's why they're the favorite in the game. But there's no way in the world I'd play Wisconsin in this situation. This is a terrible spot for the Badgers. I don't think I'm going to play the game, but I am certainly looking only at the Ohio State side plus the points here. And I wish these guys, not for nothing, but if they're going to pay the big money to talk about this stuff on national TV, and believe me, it's not jealousy. I do fine. I just bought a new Mercedes. But I do a little bit of research, okay? It's just, and this is an easy one to research. You just look back, and the numbers are staggering how badly teams that lose late in the season for the first time do the next week. They're awful.
Well, one of the things that the public always does is they pick up their opinions about games from listening to the national media. So they're on there saying, "Oh, Wisconsin's going to bounce, Oklahoma's going to bounce back," and like you said, they don't do their research. But the public is hearing that, and that's where their opinions come from. And guess what? Only about 3% of the public ever win anything. So we like to be contrarian. What are the public betting on? We go the other way. Yes, Wisconsin and Oklahoma are in a very bad spot this week. They're laying points, a lot of points actually, and they're let down at the end of the season. You know, Oregon lost their first game of the year. And now they're bouncing back and climbing up the rate. If you're going to lose a game in this crazy system that we have in the BCS, you want to do it early. You don't want to do it late, because once you go down the list, it's hard to climb back up when there's only a couple games. So this is a big takeaway for Wisconsin emotionally. And what about the total in this game, Dave? The line is 7.5. Wisconsin 50.5 in this game.
Yeah,
Ohio State doesn't score points.
Well, the
other team is massively talented on the offensive side.
They are. The one thing I'll say that I think Fickle has done well with Ohio State is game plan, because they're weak on offense. They're just not a very good offensive football team. Very weak at quarterback. The one guy with the talent has no experience. The guy with the experience has no talent. So, it's not a very good combination. And consequently, what he's tried to do is get the game over as quickly as possible, run the football. That's actually the smart thing to do, and that's certainly the smart thing to do against Wisconsin from a strategic standpoint.
Yeah, Wisconsin has a ton of talent. They've got to bring in a new quarterback. He's made a world of difference. I mean, really, if they'd have won last week, they might be 20 points in this game. But it's a bad spot. We're going to come back. We have a great discussion planned, betting and wagering, how to win money. We'll be right back. It's the halfway point of the season, and I'm celebrating this Saturday by giving away not one, not two, but 3 of the strongest games on the board, completely free of charge. Just call toll-free 1-888-260-8339 and grab all 3 monster winners for free on a recorded message. That's right, no cost, no obligation, nobody to talk to. Just 3 of the most powerful selections I have set to fire this weekend. Better still, you will win all 3 games, or all of November's college football executive service is yours free as well. It's a guaranteed trifecta, all free on a recorded message. Make the call right now, 1-888-260-8339. That's 1-888-260-8339. Call now.
Last week I delivered the goods on 2 huge games. Florida State pasted Maryland as my ACC game of the year, and I followed that up with an easy NFL Game of the Month winner on the Falcons. This week, I'm at it again. It's my Pac-12 Game of the Year. And if you want to get it online, it's big money, and it costs $550. Or you can do the same thing as last week. Get the big game for only $49 and get the same guarantee. You got to get the money, or all my action plays for the rest of the season are free. Seems like an easy decision to me. So make the move now at 1-866-841-1665 for my guaranteed Pac-12 Game of the Year.
Welcome back. Every week between the 4 of us, and actually a producer as well, we discuss what we're going to talk about. And there's so many subjects to talk about, so we didn't know what to talk about. So we started off by we're going to talk about Boise, and we'll get into the BCS game. And I I think the consensus is they'll never be allowed to be in there because they don't play a schedule that deserves to be there. So there's an argument out there, but I think most people side with that. Then we're talking about bye teams. So the teams in the NFL that used to be really good bet on teams, now with the collective bargaining agreement changed, and not everybody realizes that collective bargaining agreement demands that they have 4 consecutive days off with no practice or anything like that. And they've also cut down the practices that they can have in pads, so that lessens the, let's say, the conditioning of the players and the tackling ability of the players. So everything's changed. Now, the sport is getting it's always been violent, but the players are bigger, stronger, faster. The human body can only take so much punishment. There's a lot of serious injuries to the body parts and to the head with concussions. So that is something that's going on now. The teams coming off byes are not doing very well because they're not allowed to practice and really prepare like they once were. Al?
Well, and this raises an issue for me because I was just thinking about the Green Bay Packers, and people are thinking about this team possibly going 19-0 this year, but Green Bay's on its bye week right now, and they have perhaps the toughest game on their schedule left after the bye week. They go down to San Diego and play the Chargers. So, this could be a big thing because I personally bet on Green Bay at 7-1 to win the Super Bowl. I also had them last year at 10-1 odds, and I frankly thought they were going to win 2 or 3 years in a row. I'll probably bet them next year too. But this could be a slip-up game for them at San Diego off that bye week, Dave.
Well, and I think that
isn't it a good thing though to play against a team that's coached by Norv Turner?
Rex Ryan made those comments.
I know he did before the game.
Then he apologizes for it. Take back the apology. Because that team is badly coached. I'm sorry.
Did you see that 2-minute drill at the end? I mean, that was like a farce.
Well,
it was horrible.
And I do, for those who aren't aware, I do a daily show on the ESPN affiliate out here in Las Vegas. It's a mainstream show. It's not a gambling show at all. And so we didn't go this year because of the lockout, but we've gone in past years. Our station carries the Chargers games. And so I've been down there at camp the last few years for about a week, get interviews and stuff like that. And I've always thought, boy, this seems awful laid back for a training camp. Part of it's the fact that it's in San Diego, which is kind of a laid-back town, but I think it all ties in. It's just not a very intense football team. But, as far as the bye week goes, my theory is this, and I don't mean this. This is going to sound like a generalization. I guess it is. Most coaches, while they're really nice guys, a lot of them, football coaches may be the most anal group of people on the earth because they are so routine-oriented. Everything has to be in the same... if anything's out of, if this is supposed to be here and it's not here, it's everything is routine oriented. Well, now they're not in their routine anymore because what they've done in past years for the bye weeks, they can't do anymore because of the enforced regulations that are in there. And it looks like they're having a really tough time adjusting this. Now, in time, they'll figure out how to do it. It may start to happen before the end of the season. Might take a year or two. I don't know. That's something we'll have to wait and see. My guess is the best coach teams, like Green Bay, McCarthy's superb, and an awesome quarterback in Rod. Maybe they can adjust to it better than some of the other teams. But I'm going to be really curious, for instance, to see how San Francisco handles it. Now, the 49ers, and this tells you I'm probably not going to get involved in the 49ers game this week because I don't know what to do here. They've played great football. Jim Harbaugh is a slam dunk as coach of the year right now.
And what's his routine on bye weeks? He's a first-year NFL coach.
Right. I don't know how it's going to impact them. So it's kind of something where I can't just automatically jump in and bet against the teams that are coming off bye weeks. But I don't want to be on them right now either because you look at the numbers, they're bad.
Well, there was a great angle that Al and I talked about a couple of weeks ago that has to do with teams that are bad, that are like 0-4 or worse, coming off a bye week, playing on the road. And what does it do the first week? It goes 0-2 with the Rams and the Dolphins.
And it was like 27-1 before that.
Yeah, it was like 16-0 or 15-0. But the bottom line is first of all, you got to factor in the Dolphins play with 10 men on offense. They're not allowed to play with, not allowed to use a quarterback
and no coach.
Exactly, and a coach who's been on his way out for about a year and a half now. But yeah, the bye weeks aren't the same as what they used to be. The league is pussified. I'm sorry, I'm going to make it.
Really?
I mean, it's ridiculously soft. And
well, let me defend the league a little bit on that. Okay, like I started off saying, the players are bigger, faster, stronger.
I want to hear you defend the kickoff rule, Jim.
The kickoff rule is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Here's another one.
Here's what I'm going to defend. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get pretty much the same result. They're fighting a problem in the NFL, and this is a very rich league. They make a lot of money. They're expanding to other countries. They want to do a lot of things.
Very long.
I don't feel bad for them, but they have an issue. The human body can only take so much punishment, and these guys that are hitting these players are potentially going to kill them, or going to maim them for sure. Now, that happened in the past, but you had guys like Artie Donovan playing on the line. Now you got 6'7", 360 pounds, not an ounce of fat on the body, that can run a 4.40. These guys are bigger, stronger than the human body can actually handle. So they're making changes, and I think the kickoff rule change is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't think
well,
many
let me throw this
people
out
like
at you,
it.
though.
But they're trying. They're trying to make things better.
When you watch a game in the NFL nowadays, and you'll see it, let's say the running back gets the ball between the tackles, and he runs, and he's got his head lowered. He's going head first, helmet first, and a linebacker comes up and they meet. It's a 15-yard penalty on the linebacker.
Well,
if you're going to call that kind of crap, then why is a running back or a receiver out after the catch allowed to lower his head and go head first?
No, that makes perfect sense.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
The officials officials have not adjusted well to it. We've seen way too many plays every weekend, which are completely legal hits, and the flag's coming out anyway. Plus, I understand about protecting quarterbacks. How about protecting the other guys in the field? Why are quarterbacks special? Because they're the marquee guys?
And you know another thing that's funny about this? What I say
over the top.
This league is soft now. What is wrong with Ndamukong Suh and his partner sitting there kind of making fun? That stuff has been happening for years and years. Spitting under the pile, giving them the business under the pile. That stuff's been going on since day one of football when they were playing without helmets. And I love it when Mike Golick last week comes on after the Atlanta Falcons were whining about this, and he's laughing. And he goes, "Are you kidding me?" He goes, "That's what you can come out."
And here's the thing.
Come on, guys, toughen
up. Had that been okay, part of the reason they were giving him all kinds of grief was, there was a little build-up. Plus, his own guy injured him. Okay,
right.
Look, if it had been a head injury and the guy had been unconscious, I don't think they would have been standing over him saying that. A little common sense here.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay, guys, a great discussion. We all have great opinions about it, and we're going to see how this turns out over the years. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the Vikings and the Panthers.
Hi, I'm Big Al McMorty, and last week we swept the board on our Vegas Confidential Club, cashing with Houston on Saturday and the over in the Packers-Vikings game Sunday. Now this week, I'm releasing my Vegas Confidential Club Parlay of the Year. Both plays are backed by 100% perfect systems that combine for a 43-0 record. And you're guaranteed to go 2-0 or the rest of the season is yours for free. That's right. If you don't win both plays, you get all our Vegas Confidential releases through the Super Bowl absolutely free. Just $19. Call 866-896-1628. That's 866-896-1628.
Last week, I delivered the goods on two huge games. Florida State pasted Maryland as my ACC Game of the Year, and I followed that up with an easy NFL Game of the Month winner on the Falcons. This week, I'm at it again. It's my Pac-12 Game of the Year, and if you want to get it online, it's big money, and it costs $550. Or you can do the same thing as last week. Get the big game for only $49 and get the same guarantee. You got to get the money, or all my action plays for the rest of the season are free. Seems like an easy decision to me. So make the move now at 1-866-841-1665 for my guaranteed Pac-12 Game of the Year.
Welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about the Panthers and the Vikings. Two rookie quarterbacks. You got Christian Ponder now taking over for McNabb. He had a decent game the other day, but if you look at the stats, it wasn't that great, but I think he has a lot of potential. And then you got Cam Newton on the other side. Man, a rookie comes into the league. He went into the right system with the right coach, and he is just setting it on fire, Al.
Yeah, last week I actually liked Minnesota a little bit against Green Bay, decided to not use it, but I instead went with the over in the ball game, but on the Vegas Confidential Club. But it was a really inspired effort by the Vikings. They lost 33-27 as double-digit home dogs. And one of the things I like to do, Dave, I like to take teams off a loss but cover as a double-digit home dog. Those teams generally follow through with a good effort the next week. They're 27-10 as underdogs, including 12-0 as dogs of less than 7 points. And that's the situation here. So I'm going to take the points with the Vikings.
We are seeing the dawn of something special in the NFL, and it's the Cam Newton era. He's going to win some Super Bowls. I had the pleasure of meeting him this past summer. Warren Moon, former NFL great, he has a big charity event which raises a ton of money here in Las Vegas every year. It includes a bowling tournament. And a lot of celebrities come in from all the different sports. So they invited Cam Newton to come in. So I got a chance to speak to him. Boy, is this kid sharp. Funny. I mean, just, he's one of those guys you sit down and talk 2 seconds to him. It's like, wow. He's really, really sharp. He gets it in every way, by the way. So this is a guy who's going to be the face of the NFL over the next 15 years or whatever it is. He's going to have a great career. And it's starting early. Because
workout routine that build up that arm of throwing stolen computers out the window in the dorm. I mean, that's...
Well,
that's gotta,
I don't know what, look, I'm sure he may have done
allegedly.
He may have done some immature things. Guess what? I did too when I was that age. They were a little more under the radar.
I never got $150,000 for doing my immature
things.
I
don't know what happened.
Sorry.
All I'm telling you is this is a sharp... Well, okay, let's just say that happened.
I'm jealous.
Nothing happened to him, so give him points for being sharp, okay? But the talent this guy's got, he's way ahead of where rookies are supposed to be at that position in the NFL, especially against sophisticated defenses. I mean, he gets better every week. I like Ponder. I like what I saw out of him last week. And, it looks like the Vikings made the right move in taking Donovan McNabb, who's clearly not the quarterback of their future, out and putting Ponder in. But I right now think the Panthers are kind of a team that's just getting better by the week. And I don't know if the numbers caught up to them yet. Good win for them last week. I think this game, personally, I think the number is right in this game because, Panthers are favored now. But I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, guys. I think Ponder's going to get the Vikings down the field. I think Cam Newton's going to get the Panthers down the field against the Viking defense. It's getting softer by the week. I like the over here.
Well, both teams can give up a lot of points, that's for sure. The running game, we didn't talk much about the running game. Both clubs can actually run the ball pretty well. They're ranked up near the top in the league at running the football, and that really sets up the quarterbacks for having much better football games. When you're multi-dimensional like that, the quarterbacks start looking. I've never seen a quarterback come into the league and play this well right off the get-go. I mean, his first game he had over 400 yards passing. Yes, that was against Arizona, but he did it in the second game as well. This kid is really far advanced. He's probably a little bit more advanced than Ponder, but this is only his second trip out to start. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the Bills in Toronto hosting the Redskins.
Can you say 6-0? Hi, I'm Scott Spreitzer with my next countdown going this weekend. I won all 3 countdowns last season, and I've won each of my first 2 countdowns in 2011. Grab my next top 5 countdown as we look to make it 6 winning countdowns in a row, and today's 5-play report is topped by my conference signature Annihilator Game of the Year. We swept these plays last week with Nebraska on Saturday and the Kansas City Chiefs 28-zip on Sunday. Call 1-866-896-1627 and get all 5 plays counted down from number 5 to number 1 for only $25. And remember, my signature Annihilators go for $500 online. It's part of this $25 package. 5 plays, $25, 1-866-896-1627.
It's the halfway point of the season, and I'm celebrating this Saturday by giving away not 1, not 2, but 3 of the strongest games on the board completely free of charge. Just call toll-free 1-888-260-8339 and grab all 3 monster winners for free on a recorded message. That's right. No cost, no obligation, nobody to talk to. Just 3 of the most powerful selections I have set to fire this weekend. Better still, you will win all 3 games, or all of November's college football executive service is yours free as well. It's a guaranteed trifecta, all free on a recorded message. Make the call right now, 1-888-260-8339. That's 1-888-260-8339. Call now.
Scott,
yes.
Talking about the Redskins and the Bills this week. They're up in Toronto. The Bills have played there 3 other times. They've yet to win a game there. All of the games there have gone under the total, which is kind of surprising because usually in the Canadian Football League when they play on those fields they're high scoring. But by our rules they don't. But the Bills have never been this good. They've got a much better quarterback, a very smart guy that is doing very well. The Bills, they're coming off a loss. They lost that last game to the Giants. The Redskins, who started the season off with Grossman, oh God, this guy. I mean, he was in the Super Bowl when they lost. The Chicago lost to the Colts. He was the most valuable player for the Colts. I mean, he was a disaster. I happened to sit through the rain in that game, and it was not fun.
Who'd you bet on, Jim?
The wrong side.
Okay.
You could tell, right? But. I actually put money on. Man, how did I do that? But anyway, this game, I liked the Redskins in this spot initially. But when you look at the injuries for the Redskins, the line has moved from 4 up to 6. The Bills are favored, of course, and the total is 46.5. The Redskins have a list this long of injuries. What do you think?
Well, I will guarantee you this. I had my CFL game of the year earlier this season. It was a 36-1 final score. We won. And I'll guarantee you, no matter how bad the Washington offense is, they will not score 1 point. I'll just tell you that right now. It's not going to happen.
They might score more?
They might get a couple more.
Okay.
They might
Or
get
less.
3.
Or
less.
Oh,
Yeah, it could happen.
less, yeah.
No, it's really tough to lay this big 6 spot with Buffalo. And yeah, they're 0-3 in Toronto, playing on what was supposed to be a home away from home. And I remember reading somewhere this week about the players used to say, what kind of home away from home is this when half the fans are rooting for the other team when we show up in Toronto? But it'll be a Buffalo Pro crowd now that they're actually winning football games. The hard thing for me is, we talked about Rex Grossman in week 1, I believe it was, of Proline this year, and I talked about they're going nowhere, the Skins, because they've got a horrible quarterback under center. Al made a good argument. You know what? 20 years ago, this guy's a horrible quarterback. Nowadays, he's an average quarterback, even though he's a 55% passer with a 6-9 touchdown to INT ratio. John Beck is not that much better. What does he play? 2 snaps going into last week, the last 20 years? I mean, just no experience at quarterback as far as winning is concerned. The one thing I like about the Buffalo Bills, an extremely smart quarterback, not just off the field, but on the field. They're more fundamentally sound than the Washington Redskins. They don't make costly mistakes this football season, and Washington just has injury after injury. I like Roy Halu, and it's not just because he played for Nebraska, but when you got a guy like Tim Hightower, who early in the season is playing the same position, and he's saying this kid is the real deal. Yeah. He picks things up like that at the drop of a hat. This kid's going to be good, and on and on. I like Roy Halu. He's not as good right now as Hightower would be if he was healthy and playing, but the Skins have lost Chris Cooley, Hightower. The injury list goes on and on. I talked about earlier in the show, Miami playing without a quarterback. Well, so are the Washington Redskins. So I think you either got to lay the points in this game if you're going to play a side or stay away from the contest.
I can't disagree with you, except we just don't know about Beck. He hasn't had enough time to say. He's definitely not as bad as Grossman. He might earn the right to be as bad as Grossman, but right now we don't really know. We're going to come back. We're going to have our best bets very soon.
Last week I delivered the goods on 2 huge games. Florida State pasted Maryland as my ACC game of the year, and I followed that up with an easy NFL game of the month winner on the Falcons. This week I'm at it again. It's my Pac-12 game of the year. And if you want to get it online, it's big money, and it costs $550. Or you can do the same thing as last week. Get the big game for only $49 and get the same guarantee. You got to get the money, or all my action plays for the rest of the season are free. Seems like an easy decision to me. So make the move now at 1-866-841-1665 for my guaranteed Pac-12 game of the year.
It's the halfway point of the season, and I'm celebrating this Saturday by giving away not 1, not 2, but 3 of the strongest games on the board completely free of charge. Just call toll-free 1-888-260-8339 and grab all 3 monster winners for free on a recorded message. That's right. No cost, no obligation, nobody to talk to. Just 3 of the most powerful selections I have set to fire this weekend. Better still, you will win all 3 games, or all of November's college football executive service is yours free as well. It's a guaranteed trifecta, all free on a recorded message. Make the call right now, 1-888-260-8339. That's 1-888-260-8339. Call now.
Welcome back. Now it's time for our best bets. Al?
My best bet, no offense to the Georgia Bulldogs, but let's face it, after facing Alabama, LSU, and Auburn, Florida goes down in class this week, and they're going to be my best bet against Georgia. Take the 3 points. Your best bet is to get on board for my Vegas Confidential Club Parlay of the Year. Last week, a perfect 2-0 on the Vegas Confidential Club plays. This week, we're going 2-0 again. It's our Parlay of the Year. These two plays, out of two systems that combine for a 43-0 record, it's only $19, and you're guaranteed to win, or you get the rest of our Vegas Confidential Club releases all the way through the Super Bowl absolutely free. Call 866-896-1628. That's 866-896-1628. Dave?
I'm going to look at that Vikings-Panthers game. I think this is going to be a fun game. Two intriguing young quarterbacks. One, we'll see on Christian Ponder. He looked pretty good last week. The other one, I'm extolling the virtue. I'm on the bandwagon for Cam Newton. Okay? It's funny. Everybody's talking the Tebow mania is sweeping. Really? Yeah, you're talking about Tim Tebow, who might or might not be a passable NFL quarterback. Here's the guy who's going to be the stud. This kid's sensational. I think this is going to be a high-scoring football game and an entertaining game to watch between the Vikings and the Panthers. So I like the over in that game. Last week, just cleaned house on these two big games. I advertised all week. ACC Game of the Year, $550 online, a big money play, but you could get it for $49 if you were watching Proline with a guarantee. Easy winner with Florida State. Follow that up with the NFL Game of the Month on the Atlanta Falcons. They didn't need the points as they went in and pretty well dominated things against the Detroit Lions. I don't mean it. I don't want to make this sound like hype, but this Pac-12 Game of the Year is the first game I bet this early where I was actually waiting when the number come out. It's boom, I got to fire on this right away. I wanted this number right away. Love this game. Same guarantee as last week, and it's the same setup. If you want to buy it online, please do, because it's $550 and I make more on that. But you can get it for $49 with the guarantee. Rest of the season free in college football. All my action plays through the bowl games. 1-866-841-1665, and it's only $49. Take advantage. Make the call now. 1-866-841-1665. Scott?
I love that offer, Dave, and I want that play, as does Jim, as we're leaving, and I'm going to make sure I grab that one. But I'll tell you what I got going this week in just a minute. First, I want to say that my best bet is the Minnesota Vikings this week over Carolina, and I am on board with Cam Newton being the real deal. What you find out about these young players in the league is when you see veterans around the league or on their team glowing and praising these young guys. And we've seen Steve Smith do it right since camp finally opened after the lockout, just talking nothing but how great Cam Newton is, how fast he catches on with the game, and all you have to do is turn on your TV set when the Panthers are playing to see why he likes him so much. But we're going to go against him this week, and we're going to take the Minnesota Vikings. I think they're in a great spot here. Now, as far as my best bet actually is this week, and your best bet is to give me a call, because I'm shooting for my 6th straight winning top 5 countdown. 3-0 with their countdowns last season, 2-0 so far this season. 5 big plays in college football, counted down from number 5 all the way up to number 1, which is my conference signature Annihilator Game of the Year. These plays go for $500 online. You're going to get it as part of this 5-play package for only $25. We kicked tail last week when it came to these signature Annihilators. Nebraska in college football, the KC Chiefs over Oakland in the NFL. You don't want to miss out. Call 1-866-896-1627. $25 for all 5 plays. You make the call, I count them down, and you count the cash.
Thanks, Scott. Great offer. All the guys have great offers as well. My best bet this week, I'm going to look at this Wisconsin-Ohio State game. Wisconsin is much the better team, no question about it. One of the leading offenses in football. But they're coming off an emotional game that they're just not going to recover from. Will they win and cover this game? I'm not talking about that. What I'm looking at is this total, 50.5. Ohio State has no ability to score. They just are playing good defense. They run the ball. They eat up the clock. This game's going under. That's my best bet. Under in the Wisconsin-Ohio State game. Now, your best bet. I have 3 big games. That's right, 3 big television games. You call 1-800-260-8339. It's a recorded message. Nobody to talk to, no obligation, no cost. 1-800-260-8339 for 3 big games. And if these 3 games don't all win, you get November's college football executive service absolutely free. Why not make the call? 1-888-260-8339. That's our show for this week. Come back next week. We're going to have more winners.